the last couple of weeks, I've been feeling kind of stuck on this game and like I'm making sort of no progress at all or really slow progress. And I've just been really kind of struggling with it, but I didn't really know why, but I think I might have figured it out. So what I've done here, this is kind of like it's almost like a project planning type tool, except it's very visual and this works better for me than things like lists and Trello boards or whatever. But I've split my game into two halves, kind of like basic things and stretch goals. So the basics was everything that I needed to put in to get a basic Flappy Bird game going. I got all of this done in 3 days, in one weekend. And it was really, really fun because I was getting that immediate feedback with every single thing that I did. And the game felt like it was like really moving along. And then as soon as I got to the end of this, the whole thing ground to a halt. So when I was doing my object pooling refactoring, anytime I'm doing refactoring of code, that is obviously something that is done completely behind the scenes. There's nothing external, there's nothing visual to show for it because it's all within the code. But at the same time, it's necessary a lot of the time with game development, especially if you're doing something iterative where you just like you build a game and then you add this thing, but you need to change something to add that, and then you need to add that thing, and it's the same. You're just going to have to keep sort of refactoring as you go along. So this is something that's kind of a necessary evil. But then with all of these other things for my stretch goals, one of the problems that I had was that they required me to learn something brand new about Unity. Now, the problem I have right now is that everything is brand new because I haven't used Unity before. So before I started making this game, I watched a couple of tutorials, so I learned the basics, sprites, colliders, rigid body, that kind of thing. So that allowed me to get the basics of a game down pretty quickly. But then I didn't know anything about sound and music. I had to learn all that. To do the config menu, I had to learn a bunch of UI stuff, which is not very interesting to do. I now want to be able to save what I've got in the config system. So I now know I need something called player prefs so that I can save it and then do a difficulty setting and then a high score stuff. Again, not very interesting, but it feels kind of necessary. Somebody mentioned that I could put some background scrolling in, and yeah, I could, but then that means that's something else I need to learn. And then something that I want is like some more visuals, some more feedback to kind of make the game pop a little bit, look a bit better. But the problem that I have is that all of these little things in isolation, first of all, they're a brand new thing that I have to learn. And that immediately gives me this kind of like, it's a mental block. And it's almost like in any given day, first of all, I've only got so much time, right? Everyone's limited by how much time they have because of life, work, kids, whatever. And then I've got mental energy. And I find when I have to learn something brand new, for some reason, it kind of drains that mental energy, even if it doesn't take long. Some of the things that I've learned how to do, like when I was learning the sound effects and music, it was actually really quite simple once I'd figured it out, but I just had such a block around learning this new thing that I just found it really draining. So even once I'd done it, I then just wanted to do kind of like easy things for the rest of the day. I didn't then want to go on and learn another new mechanic. And I think this means that I need to sort of change the way I'm working. So because of my tendency to, how do I explain this? And I don't think this is necessarily anything to do with ADHD. I think this is just something that everybody has. It's always exciting to start something new, and it's always difficult to finish something which is feeling kind of a bit boring, right? I mean, it's a million videos on YouTube about how to finish your game. It's obviously a huge problem in the game dev community. Now, I know from past experience that it's very easy for me to start new projects because they feel exciting. And this is especially so even with games. I mean, I've only been doing this for a couple of months and I've already done 3 games. But like when I was doing Orberella, most of it was making progress. And that felt, again, very it felt like I was making progress more of the time. But the more boring things, like, yeah, difficulty settings and high scores, maybe I don't need to learn how to do all of these things in my first Unity game. So I think what I want to do is I do want to save the music settings so I don't have to change it every time. Once I've done that, I think I'm just going to mark this game as complete and start a new project. Just get on with something new. And then I've already said from the beginning, I want to make a whole bunch of little games and I want to do all those old classics. But then maybe in each game, I can learn just one new thing or one or two new things, whatever, from Unity. Learn how to do like parallax scrolling, learn how to use particle effects, learn how to do animation, learn how to do, I don't know, post processing. I don't even know what that is exactly, but I know it's something to do with lighting. I might be completely wrong. The point is, there's probably dozens and dozens of parts of Unity that I need to learn, and eventually I would want to put probably many of those things into a game I was creating, but it's just too much to try and learn it all at once. And again, it just makes me feel like I'm stalling if I'm trying to put all this stuff into a game that's already pretty much done. Once I got to that point, yeah, I do want to move on. And I think I'm kind of beating myself up a little bit, thinking, oh no, I've got to have this finished, polished game. I don't have to have a finished, polished game. I'm 2 months into this. I'm supposed to be building crap games. So, yeah, I'm going to speed up what I'm doing. I don't want to spend weeks and weeks and weeks on a game that I've basically built in a weekend. I want to get the fun part out the way, learn one or two new things, and move on. And then just create another game and then another game and see how that goes. So yeah, I'm going to try and wrap this game up. I've been recording a little bit of footage for the latest devlog, and honestly, it's boring. It's just so boring because I'm doing stuff with like the config menu, and it's boring to do, and it's boring to watch a video on. Who wants to know about that, right? So yeah, I don't even know if I want to bother releasing another devlog showing how I'm building sliders for setting the music volume. Who cares, right? So no, I think actually it's a good point. I think I'm just going to scrap that footage, put this video out, finish this bloody game, and then move on to the next one. Okay, all right. That's all I've got for today. Sorry for the waffle. Thanks for watching.